So, as everybody knows, this is a very special one for me because I get the chance that I don't get very often to talk to my brother. And I really, really appreciate it. Adrian Mariappa, how you doing, bro? Hope you're doing good.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hope you're well. Hope you're
Yeah,
well. But yeah, all good over here, man.
nice man. You see that jersey behind me, yeah? You like it?
See,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Had it framed and everything. Looks like it was frozen up there. Not sure what happened there for a moment, but looks like it got frozen. Looks like we're
oh,
frozen there for a moment.
I got you back. I got you back.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. But yeah, man, welcome back to England. How is the family doing, firstly?
Yeah, good, good. Obviously a lot of change going Australia, coming back, but all settled back in, back in our old schools and stuff, and yeah, a bit of just back to normality, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for you now, being at Burton in the Midlands, the kids are also in that area with you, or they're back down south in London as well?
Yeah, no, we're still based in Watford,
Mm.
and I just do the commuting and stay up when I need to. Something I've done when I was at Bristol City and when I was at Palace as well. So um, yeah, obviously everyone can just be back where all the family is and stuff like that as well. So try and not move them around too much again.
Yeah. But the experience you had in Australia, how did not only you like it, but the kids, did they like the new culture and the way of life and all of that?
Yeah, it was very different. Don't get me wrong. But they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. They liked. Obviously, there's not too many nice beaches and stuff, especially around where we live. So yeah, they enjoyed that lifestyle. Very different from England, but yeah, they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. Good experience, life experience for them, and for me as well. Even just playing in a different country, different league, different way of doing things it was good. It was enjoyable.
Mm. And in terms of the experience that you had over there, scoring goals, being part of the team of the year, how would you rate, the time that you had over down under in Australia?
It was good. I mean, as a club, I thought, we should have made the playoffs. We just tapered off in the end. I think COVID hit our squad really hard, and that had a big effect on things because we were flying high before we had a little break because of COVID. So that affected us. But personally, yeah, I thought I'd done well. Like I said, I was scoring goals, goal scoring for my career. And then obviously finished the season with the A League All Star game against Barcelona, which just stuff like that doesn't come around every day. So yeah, all in all, yeah, I was happy with the experience. Like I said, wish could have just made the playoffs. That would have just topped it off nicely.
Yeah, but certainly a wonderful experience that you had down under. Now, talking about being back in England and everything like that, did you say, I mean, many people would think that you perhaps would have spent another season in Australia. A lot of fans were talking about you staying, and of course, there's a lot of positivity about you. But, being back in England, is that something that you always had the back of your mind, or perhaps you might have wanted to play another season down under?
Yeah, I mean, it's look, when obviously had the family, my missus was pregnant when she was over in Australia as well. So and then she got really homesick, decided to come home. That changes things as well. It's not it's not just a short flight. It's so far away. So I had to weigh up all those things. Like I said, I really enjoyed it out there. It would have been great to spend a few more seasons over there, but um, all in all, just coming back at this time just seemed like the right thing to do. And yeah, obviously just back enjoying my football back in England.
Mm. And when the opportunity came around to head to Burton, would you say that happened around the time that we played Argentina or just a little bit after that?
Yeah, so I knew about it before I went on international duty, and I'd had a few other things come up before that, which I turned down, which I didn't think was quite right at the time. So, um, but yeah, this just this it fitted well. I went in and they train at St George's Park, which is obviously England's training ground, and the facilities there are unbelievable. it'd be good one day if we can get some facilities back like that in Jamaica. You know, they just you can just see the level there. So yeah, one day I'm hoping you know we can you know get some you know a place like that to train would be unbelievable, and I think that helps with the development as well. So obviously training there and then meeting the team, meeting the players, and the manager, etc. Just felt right, and not long after going in there, I played my first game, and yeah, we started off decent.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about the squad that you have because you have Michael Mance, who you remember was back at Chelsea a couple of years ago, and of course Borthwick Jackson at United, amongst other players that have played Premier League football. So, I mean, there's decent pedigree, you could say, at the club right now.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of players who have, like I said, Michael Manson. Obviously, his resume is brilliant. Real top player. Had a really good career. He's been injured since I've been there, but he's coming back to fitness now. So that'll be a massive addition for the squad. Saying about Cameron Jackson as well. He eligible for Jamaica as well. Very good left back. Obviously, he played in the he was in the squad for the FA Cup final that I lost when I was at Palace, which I found out the other day. But yeah, very good player. And yeah, there's some real good players in the squad. Definitely, I'd say that the performances have been better than the league position suggests. But the proof will be at the end of the season where we finish.
Yeah. And about Cam as well. Have you just talked generally about Jamaica? Like, I have Jamaican heritage, you have Jamaican heritage, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we have. Yeah, we had a good convo a couple few days ago, and he was just you know just saying how obviously like he wants to play, he'd want to be involved. Talking about the competition at left back as well. But yeah, he's a good player, and I think he's got every chance of getting himself in the squad. Of especially if he keeps himself fit and keeps his performances up. Yeah, he's got every chance.
Yeah, and as you know, this year, 2022, you're celebrating 10 years as a national player. You've been through the likes of Tapper and Schaefer and Paul Hall and now Coach Halgrimson. I just wanted to know your early impressions of the new gaffer and the time that you had over in America.
Yeah, I thought he done. It was only a few days that we had to work with him, but he came across really well. He stressed his ideas, the way he wants us to play, the way he wants the squad to conduct themselves off the field as well. And yeah, he got that across really well. I thought we in the game, I thought there were a lot of positives to take. But yeah, obviously it'll be a work in progress. Like I said, it was only a couple of days to train. Wasn't ideal, especially when obviously he wants to get his ideas across. But we tried to execute the best that we could on the day. And yeah, like I said, he knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And it's just about the boys buying into that and yeah, and just getting it done on the pitch.
I mean, we had a chat maybe in the middle of COVID a couple of years ago. You're talking about the change that you had when you went to vegan. Have you found that that has helped you recover after games and prepare for the next game time after time? Would you say that has enhanced your body in terms of your longevity?
Yeah, I mean, before I even went vegan, I made a few changes to my diet based on a few blood tests and stuff that I had, which helps with the recovery and stuff as well. And at the end of the day, I want to play as long as I can. And your diet and the way you look after yourself off the pitch is what will dictate that. And obviously, I've been fortunate, touch wood with, without having any long-term injuries, etc. And I know all of that comes into play as well. But yeah, feeling good, still moving well. So yeah, must be working.
Yes, I mean it's not like you've put like a timeline on your career. You're just going to play as long as the body is up and running in a sense.
Yeah, you can't play forever, but I'm just trying to enjoy, every game, every session that I have. Um, I'm at the backstage of my career, but I see people like Thiago Silva. He's going to the World Cup. He's 38, still playing in the Premier League, obviously at the very highest level. Even players like Pepe, 39. Obviously, as a centre half, it's different to playing on the wing or etc. You know, you can get a few more years out of yourself if you read the game well, which is something that I try and do to the best of my ability and use my experience. Um, and yeah, I think you can play well into your late 30s.
And when you're bearing in mind next year we have Nations League, Gold Cup, and friendlies in store, I'm sure it's something that you're relishing as well, because you've always made yourself available for Jamaica, time and time again.
Yeah, and look, international football is another thing as well. I know you can't play forever, even though I'd like to, but yeah, I'll just take it one camp at a time. Obviously, still need to be putting performances for your club team to show that you still have the level to be getting called up, because it's getting harder and harder. You see the pool of players, it's getting better and better each time. The players are playing higher and higher levels, so um, obviously keeping yourself in good form for your club team will dictate whether you're getting called up. And I'm sure the manager will be looking at that. Obviously, he's European, so he'll be looking at the boys playing in Europe as well. You look at Ethan doing so well for Brentford, and obviously Liam coming back to fitness soon as well. The competition will be very high for places.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about Liam, so Greg Lee's coming back from injury as well. Liam told me the other day that, he calls you and other lads call you Uncle Maps. So I guess you have the responsibility of checking in on the other lads in the team, so and they're doing and all that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll try and check in with most of the boys where I can and stuff. And obviously, yeah, Liam, we briefly spoke when he was just getting back out there and stuff. And I just wished him speedy recovery, because he's a big player for us, and he's a big personality in the squad. He's a leader, um, and yeah, he's a good player as well. I think first and foremost. So I'm sure Reading will be looking forward to having him back. But yeah, definitely will be looking forward to having him back as well.
Yeah, if you ask a lot of Jamaican fans, they would say that they would love to see, yourself and Joby be involved in coaching the national team one day at some capacity. Is that something that you'd say long term is at the back of your brain in a sense?
100%. Yeah, I've never shied away from the fact that one day I'd like to manage the national team, or be involved in a coaching setup. It's something I'm passionate about, and if I can help, lead us forward in some way. I've tried to do that on the pitch, um, but yeah, I think I can definitely have an impact behind the scenes, and just helping us to progress. And because I think we should be making every World Cup, in my opinion.
And in terms of, those qualifications, is that something you started or you plan to do at a later date?
Yeah, I already started it, so I've already got my UEFA C and UEFA B licenses. So yeah, be moving on to my A, and then once that's done, move on to my pro. But um, yeah, I've just got big ambitions as a coach. I always want to stay in football after it, and obviously playing for Jamaica and that setup is something close to my heart. So helping us progress, and seeing what the likes of Canada has done. When I look at them, because they're in our region, but then I look at countries like Wales as well. Their first World Cup for 64 years, and I remember when Joby was in the setup and we was having conversations with Hal Robson Kanu, and we were quite close in the world rankings and stuff, and we're talking about who'd make a World Cup first and stuff, and see what they've done. There's no reason why we shouldn't be making World Cups.
Yeah, well said. And when you're bearing in mind as well, bro, that Joby is doing so well, and he has that job with the English FA right now. Michael Johnson with the under 21s with England, Jason Ewell, Jamal
Yeah.
Campbell-Rice, Zavon Hines at West Ham. There's so much players behind the scenes coaching at age, very close to yours and getting their qualifications early. So it can only bode well for the future.
Oh, 100%. The likes of, we played Sheffield Wednesday the other day, and obviously Darren Moore, Big Moore has taken them and doing so well there. And um, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. I think You see the guys that, like you said, either close to my age or just a little bit older and forging great careers for themselves in the football industry. And um, yeah, like I said, there's no excuses. It just makes me, want to get my teeth into it when I'm done playing.
Yeah. And forgive me if I've forgotten, have you got the privileges yet of having a testimonial for Watford or not as yet?
No, there's no. I haven't had testimony. I don't know how it works to be honest, because I played. I think it was 11 seasons over professional seasons over 2 years, over two separate spells. But obviously, I was there from such a young age as well. So yeah, look, it's not something that's been discussed, but yeah, Watford's always a special club for me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I understand. And of course, let's talk about our good friend Doyley. He's doing great things as well, coaching as well.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I speak to him quite a lot. He's doing really well. He's doing really well. I mean, people probably won't know too much about the National League back in Jamaica, but the football pyramid in England is really strong. It's really strong. So when you see players going down to like League Two and the Conference, the National League, they're all full time. They're full time teams. They train, play every day. Um, they're all professional, even though it's outside of the football league, and that shows in England how strong it is, and that's why the desire for players, around Europe, etc., to come to England is there because the whole way down is very very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And another player that you played with going back to that Gold Cup 2015, G-Mac McCleary, playing at Wickham, mid-30s thereabouts and still keeping fit just like yourself.
Yeah, he's getting better with age. I think he is. I think he's getting quicker as well. I don't know how he's done that, but yeah, he's doing really well at Wickham. Obviously, he's had a good few years already there. Done really well, but he's really, I think taking up a notch again. Fair play to him because he had a couple of bad injuries at Reading, which probably didn't allow him to play as much as he wanted to towards the end. But the way that I know he's really had a look at his diet and all the other things around that as well. And he's playing week in, week out. It's a 46 game season for him, and he's been doing that for a few years now. And more power to him. He's really doing well, and love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about Nugsy? You get a chance to catch up with him as well or keep in touch?
Yeah, I always keep in touch with him, and yeah, he's not in the football scene anymore, which is a shame. I always try and persuade him to get back into it. I always feel like he can have a real impact, especially with the national team set up, because he was someone who, he really was like a duck to water when he came into the national setup. Like he had been there for ages. Everyone looked up to him. Always someone with like a good vibe around him, and I think he made everyone in the team play better as well. And yeah, I think his presence was missed when he got injured in the setup. But yeah, I always feel like he will have some part to play in the future. I think it will be a waste if he doesn't.
And when you look around maps and you see the likes of, Leon Bailey, Bobby, Antonio, Jamalo, all doing bits in the Premier League and, playing, starting, impressing, it can only bode well and, it relishes the opportunity for other players from Championship or the other divisions to keep going as well.
Yeah, and I'm delighted for Leon because obviously his career at Aston Villa didn't start the way he wanted to. He had a few injuries and came under a little bit of criticism and stuff. But this year, the way that he's taken off, he's been brilliant. He looks fit, he's sharp, obviously scoring goals. Bobby, I think, he's a Premier League player. He just shows his quality every time he plays in the Premier League, whatever position he's playing. I think he's a manager's dream. He's an intelligent footballer, which is why he does so well. Like I said, obviously Mike doing well, Jamal, Bournemouth, obviously picked up after their early start. And Ethan, I watched the the game against Chelsea, and he was immense. He was immense. Probably man of the match performance from him. Um, so yeah, there's some real bright sparks for us, obviously. But then yeah, I try and keep tabs on everyone. So Giovanni's, the other day he won the league. I watched the MLS Cup final, obviously a couple of days ago. Philadelphia is so unlucky. Obviously, Corey come on, done so well when he came on, and just got injured, and I think that impacted how Philadelphia played. So yeah, and Blair Turgott winning the league as well. The boys. I think when you look, and maybe not enough attention is drawn to it, but everyone's doing really well, and that makes me happy and proud.
Yeah, you spoke about Blakey doing things in the MLS final, even Boza doing his thing in Russia as well, in the Russian Premiership
Yeah,
as well.
he's flying. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, the impact Damian Lowe's had in Miami. Yeah, yeah. Look, you only just have to look just to see, the impact that and how well all the boys are doing, and we just need to bring that all together in the national setup, and yeah, it'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and I mean, Blakey has spoken openly as well that, there are opportunities in Europe and it's all about the right one. But I mean, you played over a decade in England. Do you think that he can manage minimum the championship, in England?
Yeah, I've said this for years. I've said this for years, and I've told various people in England, and I've always said to him, try and get over if you can, because yeah, he's showing his quality over in the MLS. He's getting goalkeeper of the year every year. He's getting clean sheet every week. His highlight reels, every single week. And I think, for him, I think he, needs to, listen. End of the day, he'll know what options he has and whether it's the right ones for him because. He is at somewhere where they love him, they want him to do well. He wears the armband over there as well, so it has to be the right one for him to obviously move at this stage. But I've always said that he could do well in England.
Yeah, and it looks like Ravel is just enjoying his time in America now as well, just flourishing with his performances.
Yeah, and it says everything when a manager like Wayne Rooney, obviously he's not been a manager for that long, but someone who knows football so well and obviously the caliber of player he was, he goes to the MLS and just takes him straight away with him. He must have made a real good impression on him, and his quality's there to see for everyone. He's a top player, getting really well with Rav, and I know he's enjoying his time over there, and I just think obviously he'll want to have a good season next year. I think that they'll have a lot to build on, but you know how the MLS is. Teams that are towards the bottom the following year could be challenging for the title and stuff. So always an exciting league.
Yeah, it just dawned on me. At one point at Watford, you had yourself, Doyley, Theo Robinson, Joby, Marlon King, Francina Francis. I just wondered during that period of time before national team came into the duty if you guys had conversations with Marlon King about Jamaica or anything like that at all.
Yeah, do you know what? My Joel Grant was obviously I played with Joel from the age of what was it, 12, I think.
Mm.
He's one of my close friends, especially in football, growing up. So my first experience of really finding out about the setup was when he went and played. I think it was I don't know if it was the under-19s or the
Yeah.
20 of it was 20s at the time, but yeah, he went. I think we were 18, and he went and played. It was him and Nathan Booth
Yeah.
went and yeah, he obviously from then he used to tell me, we used to speak and he used to tell me about it and stuff. And to be honest with you, I remember I was playing a couple of years after that. I was playing well at right back in the Premier League, and I was thinking, would I get a call up? But yeah, it didn't come at that time. But I was thankful when it did come.
And when it did came, not a lot of, fans knew about it. Was it like Roy Simpson sent you an email or it was just a letter from the JFF and then bam, get that passport ready?
Yeah, do you know what? I spoke to Captain Burrell, first and had a really good conversation with him, and that was nice. Obviously, speaking to him, obviously, because you know how big a person he was. To take the time to give me a call, and so yeah, that was the first I knew of the interest, and yeah, from there we just got the ball rolling.
Yeah, and in terms of what you've had accomplished so far, playing at Gold Cups for Jamaica, going to a Gold Cup final, Copa America, a couple of Copa America appearances, and in terms of the qualifiers that we've had, have you had a chance to reflect on the journey or not just yet?
I always, I frame a lot of my shirts and stuff, and
Mm.
the Gold Cup one, I frame that. But it's still that one's still a hard pill to swallow for me because I really feel like we should have won. We should have won. Um, but yeah, just the only game we probably played poorly was that final, which was disappointing. But yeah, look, I appreciate obviously all the experience of that. I don't try and look at it as stuff I've necessarily achieved. I just appreciate the journey. That's all. I try and appreciate and um, that's what I'm thankful for. It's not so much the destinations, for me, it's just, the entire journey and which is why, obviously I still wanna keep doing it and while I'm never satisfied, I'm happy, but there's always more you can achieve, there's always more you can prove. And yeah, that's just how I've always been in my career.
I mean, you've had the privilege to play at Vicarage Road and Madejski and Selhurst Park and Old Trafford and everywhere, but when it comes to the National Stadium and that first set of qualifiers that you had, what was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, listen, when the national stadium's full, I'll never that day we beat America is one of the that sits with me now. And I tell all the boys about that because not too many not too many boys in the squad of were there around then. Only Akko when he's there. Um, but I try and tell them about it, and I remember just the feeling of you know the whole country after that, how everyone felt about football and saw it. And they're the thing. We need to create more moments like that. We know that the stadium was only going to get full. We're doing it on the pitch. If we're not doing it on the pitch, people aren't going to turn out. We're not stupid. So we know it's about us on the pitch, but um, you know, we're determined to get that right.
I mean, which one of those memories stands up more for you? The win against America or you captaining us to beat Chile, who was third in the world at the time?
Yeah,
Tough one, I
I,
know.
yeah. Do you know what that was an amazing experience. That Chile game that was because they got a star-studded team. They were tipped to win the Copa. Um, so beating them was unbelievable. But the 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 game when we beat USA in the Gold Cup semi-final, I don't, it felt like everything was against us. You could feel, you could just feel like the media didn't want us to win. You could just feel it and just. Um, but to us, it felt like we were destined to reach the final. So that is definitely one of the best moments I've had. Playing football. Full stop.
I mean, growing up before you turned professional, was there a Reggae Boys defender that you looked up to or a player generally that you looked up to in the squad?
Um, I always respected Claude Davis because obviously I used to play against him over here as well. And I remember him after one of the games I played Crystal Palace um, at Vicarage Road, and I played well in the game, but I remember I made a mistake for one of the goals. I could have cleared it. I think we drew the game, and he just come up to me after, and he gave me, he said, well done," but then he gave me a little bit of a grilling about the goal and stuff, and um, I just remember thinking, right, okay, he knows who I am, kind of thing. So, um, yeah, that was obviously Nice moment. And then yeah, obviously, like I said, I played with Marlon. Used to play against Damien Stewart and stuff. But I think a big one for me was Ricardo Gardner. Just seeing him, playing the Premier League every week. In a Bolton side which had players that played at like Real Madrid, Okocha and stuff, and he's not only playing in that side, he's one of the main players. He's doing well. He's scoring goals and um, they're finishing high in the Premier League. That I actually feel he's probably one of the most underrated Jamaican players. We've had. We tend to talk a lot about the goal scorers and the flair players, the attacking midfielders, but he's up there. He's definitely got legend status, especially how long he played in the Premier League.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story. As you know, I was over in the UK recently, and Fiji's rugby team were walking past, and they saw the Jamaican kit. So they turned and they looked at us and said, "You took our captain." And I'm like, what? They said, "Yes, Mariappa." You know what I'm saying to that?
So,
So,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
there you go, the dual
it,
heritage, man. There you go.
yeah,
There you
it
go.
is.
Listen, I'm obviously I'm proud of my Fijian roots as well. Um, my dad being born there as well, and but yeah, look, that's part of how I grew up. Obviously both sides, both cultures, and yeah, something I'm very proud of.
Yeah. And I mean, like growing up in Harrow, would you say you had the mixture of both cultures, the Jamaican and also the Fijian heritage growing up? Food, music.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I was always close with my family, and so yeah, I had the privilege of like I said, having both cultures around me, and yeah, it was beautiful growing up.
And and when 98 happened, I think you might have been 11 or 12 at the time. What was London like during that time? Were you secondary school at the time or primary school? Remember the atmosphere during 98?
Yeah, I think I would have been primary school.
Mm.
It would have been a summer before I went into
Mm.
to high school in England. Um, but yeah, I remember it being crazy. Like I had my kit, my brother had his kit and stuff, and I don't think I took it off for the whole World Cup. Um, but yeah, like that's when you really see the Jamaican diaspora come out. When we're doing something, when the Olympics are on, or when Jamaica's on the world stage, like yeah, we know how to rep it. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah. And finally from my end maps, I mean you've played with some of the lads that are coming through now, the likes of Richard King and Lamar Walker and company. You're confident about the future, the bright future of these lads moving forward?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, King, I try and talk to him and help him when I'm there and playing with him. He's got all the tools to have a really good career. Lamar Walker already doing really well in the USL, and I'm sure there'll be a few MLS teams looking at him, hopefully, because I think he's got the quality to easily make that step up, and then hopefully, step up again. So yeah, the future, it's looking good. Even look, even people like you look at Boza, he's what was he 23, 24.
Yeah.
He's you look at what he's achieved and what he's done at his age. Leon's still young. There's so many of the boys who have done a lot so far and really carving out good careers for themselves, and they're so young. So they've got so many years left to play. For Jamaica in the national team. So yeah, just hopefully they can just keep improving, keep doing well, keep not being satisfied with where they are, and just keep pushing themselves.